All right, hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. So the other day I had a question from a follower regarding memory usage, and he was saying how he was hooking up his MPC 37 to an external drive. I believe it was a SD drive or a USB drive. I can't remember now. And in any case, he had that external drive with plenty of space, plenty of for data storage, and also he also had a 128 gigabyte SD card also with fast read writing, and he just wanted to know kind of the memory usage or the hierarchy of my memory usage, and if I have any kind of issues with memory and upload speeds or playback speeds and so on. For example, when auditioning a sound. So today we're going to dive in and take a look at my settings. This is by no means an area that I'm an expert in, but I'm going to try to do my best and help guide you guys through at least my setup and how I think it's working for me. All right. So first off, apologies if my head kind of goes out of view for a few seconds. That's because I'm just using my phone today for recording, so I'm using the front camera and the back camera. And every now and then to see my screen here, I need to kind of move my head so that the phone is out of the way. All right, so first thing I want to let you guys know is how to check your memory usage, okay? And to do that, you go to the menu button here, and then on the top here you have what's called memory and CPU. You go ahead and, so that's a kind of a brief summary of your memory, but if you hit that, then you get a more detailed system resources display. Okay, the first one is CPU, so it's telling you right now to what extent your CPU is being used. So right now it's kind of in rest mode. It's at 37%. Not sure why it's at 37%. I think that's affected really by how many effects processors that I have in my project going on at the same time. That could be the CPU usage. So the more effects processors that you have, the harder the CPU works, and so the more resources that it takes. Okay, the next is the RAM memory. So I'm at 59%. Okay, so I checked, and a big chunk of that is taken up by my Fabric plugin. Okay, I'm using a couple of plugins in this project, and that is why that RAM is kind of filled up. I also have audio files. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. How to reduce RAM usage by using this technique or by using an option that Akai has introduced called streaming. All right, so you can stream an audio file from its location, just like you would stream a song or a movie from, somewhere online, instead of loading it into your RAM. So the streaming is pretty quick. You don't see any lag, at least I haven't, and it saves a lot of RAM. So we'll check that out in a second. Then we have over here, if you tap this guy here, it tells you your usage. This is your storage. Okay, so that's your drive space, the hard drive of your unit, and any other storage device you may have attached to it. So you could see that my user drive is, it says 16.7 gigabytes free of 25.5 gigabytes. Then I have my USB thumb drive. It says 5.4 gigabytes that's a 32 gigabyte thumb drive. And then I have a 256 gigabyte SD card. And that one says that 210 gigabytes are free. Okay, so I have a lot of space on those guys, and the I try to minimize what I put onto the actual unit hard drive. Okay, I save the unit hard drive, or my MPC hard drive. I save that for saving my projects. Okay, so whenever I create a project and work on the song, and then I save it. I save it um, to my hard drive, and I'm not sure if it's the case, but I do that because I feel like it will have an easier time to load that project, being directly on the hard drive. Now, I haven't tested it either way, but I'm just letting you know how I'm doing it. Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong. I know that all the audio files and WAV files come from the RAM memory. So, but again, don't quote me on any of this. Um, I would love if there's an expert out there, um, feel free to chime in. And but again, this is just how I have my setup. Okay, so let's close out of there. Close that, and we say OK. So that's all set. In terms of plugins, so I checked it out, and the plugins that came with my synth, already loaded, those are on the hard drive, and I'll show you where they are. So if I go to the main menu and then go to folders here and go to user, and that the user is basically the hard drive of the MPC, and then I go to synths over here, double tap, and there's my there's the plugins or the synths that I have loaded on here. So I have the Odyssey, Mellotron, Selena, and Hype. Ordered, or I purchased a few other plugins as well, like Fabric, but it seems like when I activated it from the preferences page, when I activated it, it didn't go to the hard drive. It went to my SD card, and I couldn't figure out why until I checked it out today, and let me show you. So let's go out of this page, and we'll go to menu and look for your preferences icon right here. Hit that preferences, and then you'll see here on the bottom it says content download drive. Okay, so that's showing you where your downloaded content. So you know how if you've purchased a plugin from the in music page online, and you're logged in, and you're also logged in through your MPC, so you can see I'm online here via Wi-Fi. Then you can download that plugin that you purchased. You have to download and activate it basically from this page. Okay, and that's what the location. This is the location where it will be downloaded to. So it says content download drive. Okay, and that's my SD card there. You can see I have not named it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then you can change the location. So if you hit change right there, you could see you could select the hard drive, that's my USB drive, or my SD card. Okay, so I'm just going to close out of there. And so that's why when I downloaded my Fabric, it went to that SD card. Now, looking back, perhaps it would have been better if I loaded my Fabric to the hard drive, because I do notice that the only audition lag, or the only load up time lag that I have, is from the Fabric plugin. All my other plugins are fine. That's probably because my Fabric plugin is on the SD card. So if that's your case, then what you have to do is you have to delete it. Okay, you have to, or in this case, deactivate it, delete it, and then reactivate it into the hard drive. Okay, and you would change the location here. I'm not going to do that for now until I absolutely have to, because everything is kind of fine. I don't mind waiting a couple of seconds for it to upload into my project. I'm all good. Um, maybe in between projects, I'll try to do that. Okay. All right. Before we go on, I just want to show you the location of my fabric on the SD card and how to get there. So let's go back to main menu right there. And then we go to the folder here, and I'm going to go to my SD card. And there's a folder there that says synths. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, double tap. And here's all my synth folders. Plugins. These are all plugins, and they include also all of the Akai professional plugins, like a lot of the effects, and also the Air Music technology plugins. But let's see if we can find Fabric in here somewhere. Here we go, Fabric Select. And I think, where was it? There's Fabric Piano, Fabric XL, and here's the main Fabric right there. Okay, and so you could see there's a lot on this SD card. I have no problem with the effects plugins being there. Again, probably when I activated all of that, they got loaded onto the SD card, which is, has its pluses and minuses, pros and cons, because the hard drive on the MPC is not huge, and I can't remember if it's 16 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes. So it's great to have a 256 gigabyte SD card that's holding all of that stuff there. But then the problem is I can't remove that from there. If I can remove it. I can remove it. Let's say I want to load something else on there. But then I don't have access to all of those things, okay, that are on that SD card. So I just leave my SD card in there. And for any kind of data transfers, that's what I'm going to talk next about. I go to my USB drive. So on my USB drive, what I have is any songs that I mix down on the MPC and that I want to export to my computer, to my laptop. I put them in this folder here called Songs for Export. And these are all my songs and all the different versions of my songs. So it's, it's very easy. I just save it to the USB stick and then take that out and put it into my computer or, wherever else I want to transfer it to. So for me, that process is really easy. Other things that I have on here, again, are things that I need to move from my laptop to my computer, from my laptop to the MPC, and those things are expansions. So things like drum breaks. So I have a lot of. Let's go back out here. So I have a lot of these drum breaks from a Sauce Lab Audio. So extra tight breaks, volume 2, volume 3. I have a bunch of drum kits from Machine and Battery, Native Instruments, Saucy Loops, Raw Breaks Edition, Only the Chords, Extra Tight Breaks. These are all different drum loops, drum loop packs and drum breaks from I primarily get them from Sauce Lab Audio just because they're so good, or I like them anyways. And so that's what. So when I purchase them online, download it to my computer, and then I take those files, copy it onto the USB, and then bring that over into the MPC, and then I can easily look for them as WAV files. Using the the MPC navigation system here. I think a lot of my expansion packs I had transferred it. I was following the instructions on how to upload it to the MPC, and some of the Akai, at least the Akai expansion packs, what you need to do is it downloads to the desktop MPC software, and then you have to connect your MPC to your computer, then transfer it like that. I think you can do it by USB as well, but because they were large, larger files, I just did it via the USB cable. Okay, and I could show you where that is. So, for example, right here, expansions. Double tap on that. So here are all my expansions: Lo-Fi Jazz, Neo Sunset, The Vault, Sonic Boom, Rock Cuts, and then I have some of these ones here: Chord Kits, Sunscape, Chord Kits, Ocean, etc. So I have things scattered about a little bit, okay, but I know where my drum breaks loops are. I know where my projects are. I know where my plugin synths are, and I know where my projects are being saved on the hard drive. Okay, so those are the main important things. And like that, my memory is not full in one location. It's kind of spread, at least the data storage memory. Okay, now let's talk about RAM memory a little bit. So there's only 2 gigs of RAM, if I'm not mistaken, on the MPC Key 37, and the new generation 2, has 4 gigs of RAM. So 2 gigs of RAM can get used up pretty fast. Like this project that I showed you, I'm not even halfway through it, and already I'm using like 59%. So I got to clean that up. Anytime you load a new kit in there or a new effects or whatever, I think it chews up the RAM, because the RAM temporarily stores the WAV files that you'll be using, like the samples that you'll be using from a kit. It puts them into a sample pool that's readily accessible, and that's your RAM memory, right? It's what is it? Something active memory. I should know that. Random active memory. A trick to reduce the burden on the RAM. Okay, whenever you have an audio file, you should set it up such that you are using the streaming function. I think actually when you do an audio file, it automatically defaults to saving that audio file as a streaming file. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So there's a streaming versus memory function. So let's go back to the main menu, and then from here, I'm going to hit sample edit. So I hit sample edit, and then I'm going to double tap the sample window here, and you're going to see that right now it's on streaming. If I go back, it gives me a choice of sample, how the sample is being stored and accessed. So you can have it as a memory, and so I have all of the kind of drum kit samples, and the different WAV files. They're all there. So if I go to the headphone or the monitoring icon up there, then I could just tap here. Or let's change this and see what else there is. There's my kick. Okay, so all the samples from my kits are directly in the, sorry, I'm having trouble here, are directly in this memory pool of samples. Okay. Now let's go back out, memory, and I'll hit streaming. Okay, now here I have, if I select this one, this is my audio file. Won't you call me? So that's a vocal that I recorded, and because it's an audio file, it automatically is being saved as in the streaming mode, meaning that it's not going to load that audio file into the sample pool, because it's a WAV file just like the samples, but it's not going to load it there. It's going to keep it in the memory wherever it's being stored, and it's going to stream from that location. It's going to stream just like when you stream a song from Spotify. You're not downloading the song, it's being streamed to you. Same thing with a Netflix movie. You're not downloading it, it's being streamed with, of course, there's a buffer so that it's pretty smooth, right? And so it's the same thing here. I believe that's the concept, okay? Now, the cool thing is you could take any WAV file and stream it, okay? Now, when I stream the audio file, which is a big file, there's no delay or lag or anything happening. And let's see what else I have here as a streaming. I have this beat. Okay, this is a, of course you could tell it's a warped beat. It's slowed down to the BPM of my project. But this is being streamed as well, okay? And then I have another one. Okay, this is a drum break, right? It's a WAV file, but it's kind of a larger audio loop. So it's being streamed. And you can select which sample you want to be streamed versus put in memory, okay? And that could be a huge time saver. So if you go back to the main page, hit the menu button right down here, and then you go to project. So this project folder has kind of a lot of useful information in it. It actually tells you, it shows you all the samples that you have in your project, and it also shows you, it kind of displays, for example, right now I selected the hip hop kit, evening sun, and if I select streaming only, it's showing me that I have a sample on that kit that is streaming. I actually loaded that drum break onto that kit. And if I want to see what is in memory, okay, not streaming but memory, I just highlight memory, and it shows you all of the WAV files that are being stored temporarily in the RAM memory. Okay, so same thing with audio. So audio, there's nothing in the memory, but if I go to streaming, there's my audio file. Okay, now to change something from one to the other, so let's see, let's go to memory, let's go to here. So I think we had that, here it is, this guy. So you can actually audition it. So right now that one is it's streaming. Okay, that's good. But let's say I wanted that to be loaded into memory or vice versa. So I would just tap and hold it down, and then you could see that it gives you the choice to delete sample or load to memory. So if I hit load to memory, it's going to load it to the RAM, okay, and it will be with the other samples in the sample pool. Let's say you have an audio file or something else. Okay, here's an example. I have a drum break, two drum breaks that are in my memory, in my RAM files. Okay, so if I want to save on RAM, then I can move these. So I press down and hold, and now it gives me the choice to stream from disk. Okay, and so I would hit that stream from disk, and then it will take it out of the RAM memory, and it will stream that beat from wherever it's stored. So in this case, I believe that's stored on my SD card. So this is great because it's going to save on your RAM. And I haven't tested the extent to which, you know, these streaming files are on time. Like, I don't know if there's any noticeable lag or not. I haven't noticed anything yet to kind of question it. So right now it's working fine. Okay. So once again, if you have large audio files, or even if you have, you know, loops that are WAV files, you can go to your project folder. You can, you know, hold and tap and hold the that WAV file, and you'll get the choice to either delete the sample or to move it to streaming. So it was streamed from a disk, or if it's already streaming and you want to move it to memory, you can do that as well. So like this audio file here, if I hold this down, it says load to memory. Okay, so I'm going to take that out.
Just to say hello.
It's a long audio file. Okay. And so that's it. So let me close. And again, whatever is highlighted here, whatever is white, that's what's going to show up. So, when you have memory selected, it's going to show what's in your memory. When you have, when you have streaming selected, it's going to show whatever is streaming from disk. Okay. All right. Now, there's one more thing I want to mention regarding CPU usage. So if your CPU is being used too much, like overdrive, you're going to start noticing all kind of bugs and crashes and error messages, etc. One way to reduce CPU usage is making sure that you're not overdoing it with your effects. Okay, and let me show you what I mean. Let's go to the mix page here, and right here is a great example of what not to do. So if you have a particular effect that you're applying on multiple channels, for example, like here I have I have these two effect racks for my vocals in my two vocal tracks. Okay, and so each vocal track is inserted with those effects. So think of it as two engines that are on and being used at the same time. Okay, that takes a lot of CPU power. Now what I could do instead is set up just one engine, set up one effect rack, and set that up in the, let me go there, set that up in the, not the submix, but the returns. Okay, so you can set what a return is it's a resource. In this case, you can have an effect set up in a particular return, and you can have different channels. Let's say I have 4 channels that I want to apply a reverb to. Okay, you can send the signal of those channels to the return. Okay, to the reverb return, which is return 1 in this case, and that effect will be applied to those 4 channels, but it's using one engine only. Okay, and the way to do that is using the sends. So when you have the return set up, you would, let me go back here. So you would hit the sends button right here, and these are the returns dials that you have. So you have return 1, return 2, 3, 4, and same thing, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, they all have 4 sends. So it sends the signal to that return, and that return returns that effect or whatever else is applied there to those channels. Okay, and so it's a way to economize on your CPU usage. All right, so if you haven't tried using that yet, definitely do so, because applying the same reverb to every single channel by inserting it directly on the channel will take up a lot of CPU power. All right, hopefully all of this wasn't too confusing. I kind of just put this together last minute, and I hope it helps. I hope it helps the person that reached out and asked the question. And if I said anything that was outrageously wrong on this video, please let me know, and please be kind about it. I've gotten some comments where people have disagreed with some things I've said, and but not in a very nice way. So I'm here to help out as much as I can, and I like to keep things cool and grounded in my community, and appreciate that that the majority of you guys are doing the same. So thank you for that. And that's it. So if this helped in any way, please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.